The pain is real. This YouTube career is over. What's up, y'all? It's John Master Lee.
And Lulu.
And today, I want to talk about something that is actually pretty serious. And it's something that I honestly never had appreciation for until I went through it myself. I mean, how many times have we heard about big YouTubers complain about YouTube is hard. I have YouTube burnout and I just want to quit YouTube after I build it up to like millions of fans, making millions of dollars. Like YouTube burnout, like it's hard to sympathize.
But I'm not getting any, nobody's listening. Nobody's.
I mean, if you think about like what burnout is when you become very unproductive. And those are the kind of things that you typically hear about, like how people are stuck in the corporate world and why they sometimes just quit their jobs to go start up their own company to like chase their dreams. But what if YouTube was your dream and you still run into the same problem? I'm like, I don't sympathize. That's how I felt.
Oh my God.
Right? Because like if you're already chasing your dreams and you can't figure out how to make it work and you like make thousands of dollars every time you post a video, I'm like, no, you shouldn't have a right to complain. That is until my injury. Now, mind you, my injury on my wrist here, right, is not a burnout, but whether it's a physical injury or a mental sort of exhaustion, it's all the same thing. It leads to a scenario where you're going to end up quitting doing YouTube, right? It is a warning sign, basically. And for me, the problem with my wrist here, right, is it's been ongoing. This is actually not the first time I've had carpal tunnels, plus other type of wrist injuries. All right, so my problem is that I have pain here.
The part that kind of comes into this area here, that's more of your carpal tunnel. On this side, there's also a thing called the cubital tunnel. So it's your ulnar nerve as opposed to your median nerve, which is more this side. Both of those can be common, kind of the same things. You can get very similar symptoms, kind of that shooting pain, numbness, tingling.
I distinctly remember back when I was in grad school, I was studying at Columbia in New York City. And this was around, maybe 15 years ago now. And I just had a laptop and I would just be on the computer all day in class and then after class. And eventually to a point where I couldn't like move my wrist anymore. It locked like this because I was using the trackpad. I didn't have a mouse. I would just do this all day on the... And I had to go to a doctor and I had to get a splint on it and I couldn't use my hand for 6 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a very long time. I learned to use my left hand. I had some excuses with it, like class where I could take more time to do tests. Maybe actually that's the reason why I had it on longer. So I'd have to hold the pencil like, I need more time for the test, teacher. But yeah, that was the first time. And this time it feels bad. It feels really, really bad.
Well, the story you told me, because you used to play badminton.
I've hurt my wrist many times over my childhood. I broke my wrist once as a kid playing soccer. I hurt it again when I was playing tennis. So I think I'm prone to this problem and I should take better care of it, but I haven't. And now, I went to see a doctor the other day and the doctor basically said, thankfully that this kind of injury, which is nerves being pinched, is not permanent. There's swelling that's basically in your wrist and you have to wait for the swelling to go down. You have to let it heal. Otherwise, you're gonna have to start doing steroid injections, which honestly sounds really, really painful. Or even worse, surgery. Heard scenarios where surgeries don't go well then, in which case your good hand is now forever.
No.
Well, that's why I have you, Lulu. I don't need this.
Hey,
All right.
are
Children are watching. How did this happen? What I really wanted to make sure people understand and what we're going through, because we're very transparent about what it takes to become big on YouTube. And I think it's important to see that if you aren't adapting to a style that is sustainable, you will ultimately fail at YouTube too. YouTube is not a sprint, it is a marathon. And my problem was that over the past year, I was on this experiment. I wanted to prove like how many videos I could post up over this past year. I did this full time. I posted every single day. I worked every single day, about 12 hours a day. We did not take a vacation December at all. Lulu worked through that. I worked through that, even through Christmas, even through Thanksgiving. It was just nonstop. Thinking that I would take a break in January. And
boom, AGT came out.
AGT Champions. It's now in January. And I knew I had to cover that because a lot of people tuned in because they loved our reactions, our commentary with that show. So I said, all right, Lulu, let's just go ahead and do this. Even though I said I was going to cut back. Well, in January, I still posted up 94 videos.
Yes.
And that's when I started to feel the pain. When February came and America's Got Talent was over, and that's when we knew I had to stop. I said, I'm going to take a week off. The doctor still thinks it could be a couple more weeks. And now I'm remembering from before, it took a long time to recover. So I don't know how to deal with this because in just the first week of not posting on YouTube,
Right.
our views have plummeted.
Hurt.
Our revenue has plummeted and it's dropped down to about the same level as what I was making from 6 months ago. So basically all the growth that I've seen in 6 months has disappeared because I didn't post for like 2 weeks. Like that's the kind of scenario of why YouTubers burn out because they realize if they stop for 1 day, 2 days, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 days, suddenly
You're
the
dying.
YouTube algorithm stops recommending your videos and your channel starts dying. And that's the reality. Like you can't keep up with an algorithm. You cannot beat a machine that expects you to crank out a video every day. You could do that for like a year like I did, but to do it for the next 10 years if you want a career, it's unsustainable unless you get a lot of help, one, or you start changing the way you do things.
How?
That's what we're going to share with people today.
Before we do that,
Oh,
don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that John will have a better wrist.
that's right. The more subscribers we have, the more this pain becomes worth it. So in 5 years, when I basically look like this, one arm, I'm just going to say, it was worth it. All right, so this is what I think we have to do, Lulu. This is not just a temporary scenario because I know the problem is going to come up again. So the first thing I realized that I have to do is that I need help. I need more and more help from you. I need more help from the editor. This is why I have become more and more adamant that this channel's growth and its future is really dependent on you. Like, we cannot sustain this. 2 people could do it. I mean, forget about even just my wrist. We literally had to go to Costco to buy these glasses because my eyesight is shot. I'm staring at the computer so often that when I go outside now and I look around, it honestly feels like I'm in a dream state. Like my eyes cannot focus on anything out there for like an hour or two.
Right.
It almost feels like I'm half awake, half asleep throughout the day. And it's just a horrible feeling. And I'm realizing my current glasses aren't strong enough. I literally have to double the strength of my glasses now in 1 year because of how far I'm pushing my physical health. I mean, the other scenario is that I just got to learn to take longer breaks in between sessions. Like right now, I actually tried to get back on the computer the other day and I would work for about an hour and my wrist would start to feel pain again, right? So I think before I even get to this point in the future, I just need to take like half an hour breaks. So, I think ultimately this channel has to evolve. It has to evolve, one, because I think if we want to get to 1 million subscribers, we need to use a very different approach. But now I have to really think about like doubling down on one thing, which honestly is actually the smarter business strategy. Focus is always better. But I like experimenting with a lot of different things. And I'm not quite done with all my experiments yet. So I'm trying to figure out how to let go of that and just, do one thing and just grow that. I'm a big believer in the hustle culture. Like it's a culture that's developed over the last couple of years. If you follow someone like Gary Vee, he's big into that, which is like grind, grind, grind.
Go all in. And then the grind don't stop, John. Sleep is for the weak.
It's hustle culture, you all.
People get burned out because they want it too fast. Or they care about other people watching them.
But the problem is that I think I completely misunderstood the real lesson in no pain, no gain, right? Like you hear that all the time, no pain, no gain.
Right.
And that has stemmed from, going to the gym, right? Like you got to push yourself, you got to feel the pain. And so when people, especially entrepreneurs, especially YouTubers, talk about no pain, no gain, they're like, I'm not getting any sleep. I'm like hurting myself. It's like the wrong kind of pain. Pain is necessary to actually grow. People who work out are talking about is that you're trying to shock the muscles. You're trying to push it to the point where your muscles get sore because after that they rebuild and they rebuild stronger. But you then give your muscles rest. You have to give it a day or 2 rest for the muscles to rebuild, and then you push it again. You cannot develop the kind of pain where you do something repetitively to the point where the repetitive stress problems become a problem that you can't ever bounce back at. Like that kind of pain destroys the body. And now that I realize this, I'm going to change my habits around chasing the right kind of pain rather than the wrong kind. The wrong kind of pain in working out is lifting something that's too heavy and hurting your back. The wrong kind of pain is doing something in the wrong form and then hurting yourself. The right kind of pain is doing a strict regimen and pushing it hard, resting, pushing it hard, resting. That's how life should be as well. That's how YouTube should be as well. I'm gonna start doing that.
Okay, yeah. Not to crank.
Not to just crank.
Yes.